Well, hi there. Warm welcome. You're watching Blueprint Explosive Exclusive, and I'm Meghna Dekha. Well, viewers, just look at the irony of it all. As wars rage across the world, lives are being lost. The biggest narrative is over the Nobel Peace Prize. Can there be peace prizes amidst wars? Well, Donald Trump remains fixated on the one thing, which is winning the Nobel Peace Prize. And if that wasn't what many have called an absurd bid, you have Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, a leader who is deeply embroiled in the middle of a bloody conflict, even as we speak, has actually nominated Trump for this honor. In fact, Trump's backers, well, let's take a look at them, who all have backed President Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize. You, of course, have none other than Asim Munir. Asim Munir was the first one. There you have it, the failed Marshal. Oops, I meant the Field Marshal, self-appointed Field Marshal of Pakistan. He's the one who had presided over Pakistan's terror hubs till date. He's the one who lost a war to India when India launched Operation Sindoor. He presided over that. He was the head of the Pakistani army at that time. He was the one who was at the helm of affairs when 11 Pakistani air bases were razed. They were struck by BrahMos, by their own admissions. 9 of their jets were destroyed, as per sources. He is the person, him along with the ISI, who are shielding most wanted global terrorists, such as Hafiz Saeed, Zakiur Rahman Lakhvi, such as Masood Azhar. But this man wants a Nobel Peace Prize for Trump. Second nomination, which is coming in, is from Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister. Well, this at a time when, remember, 57,000 people have been killed in Gaza by Israeli strikes. There has been a 21-month war with Hamas, which it is currently embroiled in. That hasn't ended yet, remember, because Hamas's ceasefire has not yet been announced by Hamas itself. Then you have also Republican senators who feel President Trump should be given the Nobel Peace Prize. This, interestingly, at a time when US itself voluntarily joined the Israel-Iran war. This at a time when there are international trade wars, as many are calling it, global trade wars, which have been unleashed, at least across the entire world. Global markets have been very dizzy with the 12 countries who face the Trump tariff whip. What happens next? Well, no one knows. This is being called the trade war. Well, remember, interestingly, you have Netanyahu, who has presented Trump with a letter that he had said that he had sent to a committee for the Nobel Peace Prize, commending Trump's efforts to end conflicts in the Middle East. In fact, listen in to the conversation as he presented Trump with the letter.
I want to present to you, Mr. President, the letter I sent to the Nobel Prize Committee. It's nominating you for the Peace Prize, which is well-deserved, and you should get it.
Thank you very much. This I didn't know. Wow. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Coming from you in particular, this is very meaningful. Thank you very much, baby.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you. It's a great honor.
Well, Donald Trump has often boasted about ending several global conflicts, but the reality is far from what he claims. In fact, many of these countries remain locked in ongoing hostilities even as we speak. In fact, some of the assertions, such as stopping the India-Pakistan conflict, are outrightly false and denied by India as well. So what exactly is Trump demanding a Nobel Peace Prize for? Let's tell you. But before we get into that, let's first listen in to President Trump speaking about his Nobel ambitions. Remember, it's not just being buoyed by his alliance partners, but also Trump himself really wants it, really wants it desperately, it seems. Watch this Nobel obsession.
You give me the Nobel Prize for Rwanda, and if you look the Congo, or you could say Serbia, Kosovo, you could say a lot of them. You could say, I mean, the big one is India and Pakistan. I should have gotten it 4 or 5 times. I should get it for the, I would think the Abraham Accords would be a good one too. But what do you they won't give me a Nobel Peace Prize because they only give it to liberals.
So there you have it, Trump's global peace claims. Let's look at it one by one. You have the India-Pakistan crisis, for which President Trump says he should get the Nobel Peace Prize 4 or 5 times. Remember, it hasn't ended. There's no ceasefire either. There's only a pause in hostilities. He's also talked about the Serbia and Kosovo war. The status of that is that there is no peace deal so far. And yet he wants a Nobel Peace Prize for that. Also, he talks about the peace between Egypt and Ethiopia, when the truth is that the negotiations are still ongoing as we speak. You have the treaty between Congo and Rwanda. This treaty, however, has been signed. And then you, of course, have the Abrahamic Treaty. That is also something which has been done so far. But why is Donald Trump so fixated on the Nobel Peace Prize, even going so far as to criticize Barack Obama for it? Well, let's take a look at some of the most notable Nobel Peace Prize winners over the years, which may explain the FOMO, as Gen Z calls it, the FOMO that perhaps President Trump feels. You have the likes of Martin Luther King Jr., this for leading the non-violent civil rights movement. He was accorded the Peace Prize. You also had Wangari Maathai, the first African woman Nobel laureate. She was honored for eco-peace activism. You had Muhammad Yunus, of course, the caretaker Prime Minister for Bangladesh currently, but this was in the year 2006. This for pioneering microfinance to fight poverty in Bangladesh. You, of course, had Jimmy Carter as well, 2002, for post-presidency work in peace and human rights. Malala Yousafzai, 2014, well, she got it for championing girls' rights to education and for standing up against terrorists. Barack Obama, 2009, and this is perhaps the needle which really hurts President Trump the most. Barack Obama got it in 2009, this for efforts to promote global diplomacy and cooperation. So there you have it. That is the list of Nobel Prize winners from the past. But is winning a Nobel Peace Prize really that easy for President Trump? Let's break it down as to who really can nominate. What is the entire process to get a Nobel Peace Prize? Is it going to be enough to have your alliance partners standing up for you? Well, remember, let's break it down to you. Who all can nominate for a Nobel Peace Prize? There you have it on your screens. You have the heads of state and government officials. You have the ACJ as well as the arbitration court judges who can nominate. You have nominations coming in from university professors, from the fields of history, from law, from philosophy, religion, so on and so forth. You also have former Nobel Peace Prize winners who give in their recommendations on nomination. The Norwegian Nobel Committee members and advisors also send in recommendations, as well as the directors of peace foreign policy institutes, members of key global legal and peace organizations, as well as self-nominations, however, which are not allowed. So you need to be nominated by someone. You cannot nominate yourself. But will it be easy to get it? What really is the entire selection process? Let's break it down for our viewers. Well, this is a selection process which is going to be reviewed by 5-member Norwegian Nobel Committee. In fact, valid names are first shortlisted for detailed reports to come in. The committee then meets between February and September to narrow down this list of nominations. Then the winner is chosen by the majority vote. And interestingly, all these deliberations are confidential. The details of this will not come out. The nominees and nominators themselves will be kept a secret for 50 years. So at the end of it, you'll never know, at least for the next 50 years, as to who are the other nominees and also who were the other nominators. So interestingly, while the leaders are nominating people for Nobel Peace Prize, do the people in US really approve? Is he winning? The popularity context in US, well, let's get you some of the latest survey details, the popularity survey details coming in of President Trump after US joined the Israel-Iran war. Now, this is interesting. This survey shows that Trump's approval rating has dropped. It used to be 45% before the US joined in the Israel and Iran war, and now it has slipped, as you can see, to 41%. The number of people who have disapproved him, the percentage stands at 45 people disapproving of Trump and only 41 approving of Trump. Let's show you some of the other pointers. Remember, this is by the June averages that have hovered roughly around 45, as I was telling you that it has has now dipped. Now, this is an interesting university poll which was released on 26th. The Republican leader had about 41% approval rating. And as you can see, this is the rest of it. Let's also tell you about specific ratings which have been coming in. For example, when it comes to militarily, when it comes to the military, the approval rating he gets is about 45. The disapproval rating is about 49%. When it comes to foreign policy, it is 40%. And disapproval over his foreign policy is 54. You can see that spike. Earlier, it was the people, at least 40% of the people who have been polled are saying that they approve. Of overwhelming 54% say that they do not. When it comes specifically to the Israel-Iran war, only 39% of the people who were polled said they support him. 53% say that they don't. When it comes to the immigration matter, 41 to 57 who oppose him. Deportation, 39 to 59% who do not approve of his deportation policies. When it comes to the economy, which was one of the biggest putches, remember, which he had made ahead of the elections, 39% people approve of it. The disapproval comes from 56%. When it comes to trade, and considering we're in the midst of this tragic war that we have seen over trade, 38% who support him, 55% of those who have been polled do not support Trump's policies, Trump's trade tariff wars that he seems to have been igniting. So let me go across to our panelists. What does that really mean? Let's break it down. We have Dr. Dror Aydar, who's joining us, a former Israeli ambassador to Italy as well as San Remo. We also have Ray Locker joining us, a prominent journalist as well as an author. I'm coming across to you first, Ambassador, because we've tried to break it down for the benefit of our viewers as to how right now things really stand. If you look at just the statistics, for example, you have about 57,000 people who have been killed in Gaza in Israeli strikes, many more across. But we'll stick to Gaza. 21 months long with Hamas is still on. Hamas has not yet announced a ceasefire. Why does, Ambassador Aydar, Israel think that President Trump deserves a Nobel Peace Prize?
To tell you the truth, I don't care. I think that the Peace Nobel Prize is a stupid prize. It's not the heritage of Alfred Nobel, because you don't give this prize for real achievements, like in chemistry, I don't know, in physics, in medicine, in economy. It's a stupid prize. It was given during the years for political reasons to many butchers like Arafat. Well, that was the biggest murderer of Jews in the 20th century after Hitler. And he received a peace prize, a Nobel Prize. So it's a stupid prize. And I don't care if Donald Trump wants to have it or not to have it. For me, but I can tell you one thing. You brought President Obama as a good example. Obama was given his Nobel Prize, Peace Nobel Prize, in 2009 before he even did anything.
8 months into his tenure.
He did nothing. Wait. He did nothing until that they gave this prize to Obama, maybe for the future, but even in the future he did nothing. But
that's a very interesting point.
Wait, let me finish my thesis. Trump at least saved the world from a nuclear danger by one of the most dangerous nation on earth, which is Iran. So if this regime of Ayatollah had a bomb, they probably would drop it on the Jewish state. And maybe they had missiles not for 1,500 kilometers, like the distance between Iran and Israel, but 3,000, 4,000, like the distance between Iran and India, for example. And they wanted to be like North Korea, to hold the whole free world in a threat.
Well, Dr. Aidar, I'm sorry, I don't like to interrupt,
wait.
but Dr. Aidar, you want to tell the people in Gaza that the war is over, that it's all peace now? You want to tell India that nuclear war has been stopped by any kind of intervention by President Trump?
Yes.
I'm sure you're aware. You're a former ambassador. You're well aware of India's stand.
Let me speak about Gaza. You said 57,000 were killed. Who were killed? Most of them were terrorists, murderers that rape our daughters, that beheaded our sons, that burned their lives.
Were there no casualties of war?
Children.
Were there no civilian casualties of war?
The civilian casualties were hit because Hamas used them as human shields, like in any war. But in any case, you are right. You are right. The war is not over. The war is not over. We have to finish, to clean the area from terrorists. You are right. And frankly, I don't care. I don't care, because this is a stupid and political prize. And I think that the Nobel Committee in Oslo contaminated this process.
I think we agree on a couple of points here. Ray Locker, very valid point. He's been very candid. So let's have a very candid discussion here. Is Nobel Peace Prize, I will not use the adjectives that Dr. Aidar has used, but is it a political prize? Is that what everyone's been angling for? Political prizes where you have the likes of Asim Munir. Asim Munir has just lost a war. He's gone ahead and sent out a nomination. Then you have Israel, which of course has backed Trump. Should there be a Nobel Peace Prize at all if this is going to be the contention?
Well, look, any kind of prize given by any organization is inherently political. They give it for reasons of their own. The ambassador is right. Obama hadn't done anything in 2009 when he received the Nobel Peace Prize. I remember sitting in the newsroom that day going, what did he get it for? Obama himself was embarrassed by it. He's like, and if you look at his speech from, his acceptance speech, it was clear he was embarrassed by it. He hadn't done anything. Jimmy Carter, on the other hand, did a lot of things after his presidency to help the world. And so, look, Trump wants it because Obama got it. He's not going to get it. Being nominated by Benjamin Netanyahu is certainly not going to help. It's not going to help that Munir nominated him. Trump really hasn't done a lot of things. He claims credit for things that he didn't do. I mean, the whole India-Pakistan thing, like, what did he do? Nothing really. He said he was going to settle the Russia and Ukraine war in 24 hours, and he vacillates all over the place about what he's going to do about that. So, on those points, he doesn't deserve it. I don't know why he wants it so badly, because other people got it and because he's a petulant child and a malignant narcissist.
Well, many have said, as the Gen Z calls it, this is FOMO of missing out, essentially, the fear of missing out, FOMO. But Ray Locker, many find it very interesting that we keep talking about a peace prize. We keep talking about the Nobel Peace Prize, this peace prize. He should have won it 4 or 5 times. But where is the peace? We do not see the peace. Why are we even having this discussion? Does the Obama pretext, the fact that he too got it 8 months into his tenure before he could actually do anything, mean that Trump should now be given a peace prize when there is no peace? When America, I'm sorry, but your country seems to have plunged the entire global markets into a trade war right now. And that has happened today.
Well, obviously. I mean, look, Trump's fixation on the Peace Prize is another symptom of his behavior and his mental decline. He does some things that many people like, but he does a lot of things that many people don't like and that aren't sound policy. I mean, for example, he puts a 25% tariff on South Korea. We have a free trade agreement with South Korea. There's no need for a tariff. He's sending these letters out. If you read them, they're rife with excessive capitalizations and bad grammar. I mean, it would be something to have somebody in your sophomore English class in high school gave you, you'd go, what is this? But that's the president of the United States sending these messages out to various people. So to talk about the Nobel Prize is a sideshow. It's a sideshow to the bigger issue that this is a mentally unstable guy who every once in a while does things that make sense, but very often does things that make no sense at all. And that's our cross to bear, and that's what the rest of the world has to navigate. And I will say that for Israel's objectives under Benjamin Netanyahu, Netanyahu is playing him masterfully. I mean, Netanyahu knows that
and it's interesting because that's something that Ambassador Aidar had also said, that this is all political. That's what it is, isn't it, Dr. Aidar? This is a political move by Netanyahu. You got the US involved in a Middle Eastern war. Again, after saying that it would never, again.
You asking me?
Yes, sir. Yes, Envoy.
Yes.
Aidar.
Yes, I think that yeah, it's a political. I can tell you one thing: India and the people of Israel are both very ancient civilizations, thousands of years. So I can reassure you,
yes,
that in the history of the Jewish people, Donald Trump will be remembered in golden letters for the next 1,000 years.
Okay.
For what he did to the state of Israel, because he helped us remove a nuclear existential threat.
Fair enough, yes, he will be a hero to Israel, perhaps not so much to India. I'm running out of time. I want just 30 seconds of closing comments from Ray Locker. He's going to be remembered by Israel for sure. What about US? How is history going to look at Donald Trump?
Well, if you ask me, I don't think he's going to be looked at very favorably. I think when he exits the stage,
a peacemaker?
Oh, no. I mean, I don't disagree with what he did with Iran. I mean, I think Iran is a menace. They talked enough about wanting to use nuclear weapons on Israel.
Yes.
I don't think that it was well thought out. I don't know if it achieved the results that Trump claims.
Right.
But I don't really feel that badly about dropping those bunker busters on Fordo.
Well, that's very interesting. That kind of support never came for India when India was attacked during Pahalgam. But nonetheless, there cannot be double standards when it comes to terror, many would say. But appreciated Dr. Aidar for joining us here on the show, as well as Ray Locker. Appreciate you both gentlemen for putting your perspectives into it. Well, with that, we're going to be slipping into a short break. But Trump's pursuit, was it for war or was it for peace? We let you, the viewer, decide.